So most job seekers have two questions that are probably the most important to them. First off, how much money am I going to make? And second, what hours will I be working? So let me kind of talk to you about what life is going to be like once you're an experienced sales rep, and then we'll kind of get into what life is like while you're in training. So once you are an experienced sales rep and you have you've kind of mastered your craft, or you've perfected your sales technique, if once you're here more than 6 months, you're going to make over $80,000 per year, guaranteed. That's the minimum expectation to remain employed as a full-time sales rep at Stohler Roofing. To get there, we expect you to need to work about 16 to 20 hours per week. Now, that probably sounds way too good to be true, and you're asking yourself, what's the catch? Well, the catch is that we are working hours that most people don't want to work, and we're doing something that a lot of people, quite frankly, don't want to do. So the way that roofing works is, 90+% of the roofs that are replaced in Indiana are done because of wind and storm damage. So what we do is we go into neighborhoods where there has been a wind storm or a hailstorm. We offer a free inspection, help people file a claim with their insurance company, and then their out-of-pockets just their deductible. So for $500 or $1,000, people are getting $15,000 to $20,000 roofs. It's usually a deal that sounds almost too good to be true to most people. So what we do, the downside of this is obviously that we're working kind of evenings and weekends if need be, and also a lot of people, quite frankly, don't like going door to door. But once you get good at it, typically it should take you about 45 to 60 minutes to file a claim. I've been doing this for 7 years. Generally, I think in my head, if I knock 3 to 5 doors is what it's going to take me to get on a roof and file a claim. If it takes more than that, I kind of start wondering what I've done wrong with my life. Now, do I expect you to be like that on day one? No, obviously not. Day one, I kind of expect you to be, unless you have some type of sales experience or experience in roofing, day one, you're probably going to be terrible. Your first contract will probably take you, 50 to 100 doors before you get that first claim. But obviously over the first 3 to 6 months, we're going to be training, role play, doing things to make you better, so that by about month 3 or 4, it should only take you about 10 to 20 doors before you file a claim. And hopefully you get to the point where you feel like, if I talk to someone, I'm probably going to sign them up. I mean, that's pretty much my expectation when I go out and sell. So basically what we do is we're going to go out, we're going to go into neighborhoods, we're going to start knocking doors from about 4 to 8. Your expectations are that you're going to do $2 million in business every year. Now that's a little bit more than $150,000 a month. And to get there, we expect you to sign about 7 contracts a week. Once you're hitting the revenue goals, quite frankly, we don't care what how many contracts you sign. So if you sign one contract for one $2 million apartment complex, collect that check, turn it in, go home for the year. We'll see you when next year starts. Now most people who are doing $2 million a year, once they hit $2 million, they want to go out and get more money. So it's totally up to you. There is no cap on your income. You can make as much money as you like. And so we'll talk a little bit more about your job duties in another video. But typically, for me as an experienced salesperson, I would say it takes me on average less than an hour to get my first claim filed. And so generally, if I'm working with an inspector, I expect to do somewhere between 3 to 5 contracts per night in about 4 hours. Off of those 5 contracts, I generally like to work bigger roofs because I don't like to waste my time with small ones. So usually off of about 3 to 5 contracts, I would expect to make on our commission plan, I would expect to make about $1,500 to $2,000 in a night. So that's kind of the expectations for a seasoned salesperson. Now, how do you get there? The first 3 months of doing this, I would say, are very frustrating. I'm going to be quite honest. I lose a lot of people in the first 3 months. The reason being, a lot of people fall off in the first week because they're either afraid of roofs or afraid of knocking doors. So we've kind of tried to take the afraid of roofs part out of the equation. So if you work for us as a sales rep, we have you assigned with an inspector. So basically you go to the door, you get the person's information, you let the inspector know, he comes and gets on a ladder, climbs up on the roof, does the inspection for you, and then you come back, meet with the homeowner, and file a claim. That's the extent of your role as a sales rep. It keeps you moving extremely quickly so that you can sign a lot of contracts in a short amount of time. But while you are in training, the hours are a little different. Obviously, as you're new, you need to basically kind of have more, you need to get a lot more failures under your belt so that you learn. So basically, as you're training, kind of work an 8-hour day. So you come in, we're going to do 1 to 2 hours of role play. Typically, we're going to start at noon, do about 1 or 2 hours of role play, go out with your manager. You're going to be knocking doors. While you're in training, you're going to be with your manager or another sales rep the entire time. So anytime you come across an objection, anytime you have a question about how you could do better, you're always with somebody so that you could role play, ask a question, find out how to get better. So typically what I tell people is, in about your second or third week, you should be getting 1 claim filed for every 50 doors you knock. So, it's a grind. You knock 50 doors, you get 1 claim. But over those 3 months, you should be trying to improve. Every objection, every situation, you're finding ways to get better at this, get more confident, get to the point that if someone gives you the time of day, if anyone comes to the door, you expect to pretty much close that person and get a claim filed. So basically the idea is you start off, I got to knock 50 doors to get 1 claim, and in about 6 months you should be at the point where in about 10 or 15 doors you almost always have at least 1 claim filed. So generally speaking, I would say for experienced sales reps, you should get 1 claim filed every 1 to 2 hours of work. So if you're doing 2 claims a night, then you're working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. By Thursday, you've got 7 claims filed. Once you got 7 claims filed, you're done for the work. You're done for the week. So take a 3-day week. If you're as you start getting better, if you're getting 1 claim an hour, you might get to the point that by Tuesday or Wednesday, you hit your 7 contracts and you're done. And basically, as long as you're hitting your revenue goals, we really don't look at your contract goals. So some people like to work in areas with more damage and bigger roofs, and they don't need to file as big as contracts. And we'll talk about a little bit more of that later on in these videos. But essentially, this should be a job where you come out, you learn you take the time to learn your trade. You take the time to really, put in time doing role playing, practicing what we teach you, and you should get to the point that you are working 16 to 20 hours a week and bringing home $80,000 a year. Like I said, there is no cap on compensation. So if you want to keep working, if you want to line up more inspections, file more claims, that's more money in your pocket. So I've seen people make $150,000, $300,000 a year in this industry. It really comes down to what you want to do.